let's continue the Nightmare on Elm Street series with the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. And this is one that people typically say is their favorite or their favorite after the first one. Now, for me personally, I love the first three. I think the first three are really, really damn good, and I think that they're the best ones in the whole franchise. Well, I mean, New Nightmare is great too, but I'd say these three and New Nightmare are the best out of the franchise. And Nightmare 3, rewatching it again, the thing I really love again is that this is a very creative sequel like the second one. But this one gets more love than the second one. The second one gets way more hate for no reason, in my opinion. And it did a lot of unique things, like having Freddy come out in the real world, like Freddy possessing the Jesse character. And I like how in this movie that Jesse or Lisa and those characters are never mentioned. Literally, it's like they don't even exist. And I know they exist in the canon because Freddy vs. Jason did show clips from 2. But Part 3 ignores Part 2. Not in a way where it doesn't exist, but they just don't even mention any of the characters or anything that had happened in Part 2. Which was one thing that I didn't like about this movie. But overall, this movie is one of the best out of the whole franchise. Again, it's such a unique sequel like the second one, because in this one, we've got a group of Dream Warriors, these kids at Weston Hills, this mental institution, and they are dying in their sleep. They are the last of the Elm Street children. And Nancy, from the first one, comes in, and she helps them out to keep alive, stay alive from Freddy getting him. And I really think that it's a great thing to have Heather Langenkamp back in this again, because she again is awesome, and she really does give a full character arc from the last one, especially with her whenever she talks to her father. John Saxon comes in the movie again, which is cool, but she talks to him and talks to Neil, this other character working at the hospital. And I like the fact that you get Nancy's full story. Like, it felt like it was concluded because, of course, in the end of the movie she dies, but it felt like it had a good conclusion for the Nancy character, because she, well, like, you see her and her dad again, and they've been off terms since the first movie, because of the mother dying, or Freddy killing her, and they have struggled through that, like, the whole time, I guess it's 5 years from the second one. I don't know how long, or from the first to the second one. I don't know how long this one is from the first one, so. But they've had a falling out, her and her dad. And I like the fact that Neil, like, whenever she talks to Neil, like, she tells her the story of the first one. But I like the fact that her character is different now and more, like, I feel like she's more of a powerful character in this, even though she was in the first one too. But she was a younger girl, and I like the fact that in this one she's a full-fledged woman, and she is ready to get Freddy. Like, she really does have that badass mentality of, like, she's gonna help out all these kids. She is not gonna have it happen again to her, like, have her friends all die again. And I really thought she was great in this movie. And also, Patricia Arquette as Kristen. This is Patricia Arquette's first movie. And, man, she is really great in this movie, honestly. Like, she really, really, like, you could see how great of an actress she is in her first movie, because she really pulled off this Kristen character, who is one of the way better characters in the whole franchise. Besides Nancy, she's really good. Like, I really think that she is a powerful character, and I like the fact that she, again, this gives a uniqueness to the sequel, like the second one, where it's like, this character, Kristen, can pull in people, like literal people, into her dreams to help her fight Freddy. But it could also be a downfall, because if she pulls them in, they can get killed. But I love that idea. Again, that's another cool idea that is elaborated in this sequel. It's not like you do the exact same movie again. These two movies in particular, I think, just do a fantastic job of being so different than the first one, but still having the first one's charm and the first one's style. Like, it feels like it's connected to the first movie, but it has such creativity in these two sequels. And like I said, Kristen is just a great character, and I like how she, by the end of this movie, is the new main character, quote unquote, unless you've seen Nightmare 4, which you know what happens in Nightmare 4 with her character, but at the end of this movie, it's like she's the one who's the leader now, but it doesn't last long. And but I really, really enjoy Patricia Arquette in this movie. I think she's great, and it sucks that she didn't come back for part four. I don't know what the reasoning was, but she is great in this movie. And like I said, the idea of these kids in the Weston Hills is really cool because they all are delinquents, druggies. They've all got something wrong with them. And I love the fact that Freddy uses that to their advantage, or to his advantage, whenever he kills them. Like, for example, one character who wants to be a actress in Los Angeles, who I feel the worst for. Like, that character wants to be this thing so bad, and then she dies, and like Freddy taunts her before he kills her because she's the one who gets her head slammed into the TV, where Freddy says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," which is one of the best lines in the whole franchise. But kills like that are cool because he connects to their what they're actually feeling or thinking. Like, for example, whenever they go in and become the Dream Warriors, one girl who did drugs before, who's standing up for herself and being more powerful in the dream world, Freddy kills her with syringes. Like, he kills her that way, and it's sad because you see Freddy fucks with everybody again, like he does in the first two movies, where he literally just is the worst thing ever. Like, he always finds something that everybody, the character, doesn't like or is scared of, and he just exploits that as can be. So, again, Freddy is just nasty in this movie as well, like he is in the last two. But that makes a great villain because he's just so despicable. He's such a despicable killer. And he talked a little more in this movie than the last two. Like, not a whole lot, but this is the point where it's starting to go a little bit. You know how he gets in, like, say Freddy's Dead, like, he gets really over the top, really silly. Like, this was the starting point, I felt like. It's the first two movies, he had, like, barely any lines. I think he had close to the same amount of lines in both the first two movies, but in this one, he had a couple more, but not to the level, like, of, I guess, 4, 5, and 6. I don't remember if 4 had a lot of Freddy lines. I feel like it probably did, but so far, it's like it's the starting point where he's going to get really, really silly in the next couple movies. So, but again, Robert Englund is, of course, awesome in this movie. Of course, he's great in all of them, even the ones that people don't like. I think he's great in every one of them. I also liked how, even though he's not super important in the movie, Lawrence Fishburne is in the movie too. He works at Weston Hills. Like, that's a cool little. I don't know. This wasn't his first movie. Because that might have been, was that Apocalypse Now? Was that what he was in first, or am I thinking of another actor? It might have been that. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it might have been the movie that he was in first, or one of his first movies. But he looks so different than he does now. So if I didn't see his name on the credits, I would have partially thought that might have been somebody else, because he just looks really different when he was younger. But I like that he's in it, even though he's not as important as the other characters. And I love Priscilla Pointer is in this movie too, who is Amy Irving's mother, who usually played with Amy Irving in movies like Carrie, which I love her in Carrie. She's the mother in Carrie of Amy Irving's character. I think that she's really good in this movie too. Amy Irving's mom, Priscilla Pointer, has such a, like, she has such a fun personality to her. Like, she plays this woman in the movie that is, you could consider a horrible person, but you don't, because she, like, Nancy and Neil are trying to get her to stop having the kids sedated. They're trying to get Hypnocil, which is a drug that has been tested but not fully, like, authorized, and that might save the kids, but she doesn't get it. She does not understand that they are dying in their dreams because of Freddy. Like, Neil has learned this, but she has not. So I really like Priscilla Pointer in this. I thought she was really cool. It was just cool seeing her in another horror movie. Like, I like her a lot. She's a great actress. So I liked her a lot. And I like the fact that this movie, the first 30 minutes, there's literally not a kill. That's cool, because usually movies like this really do like the first movie, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, there's a kill like 15 minutes in, and then the second one, I don't remember if is it 30 minutes before or after, I don't remember. But at least the first one, it's like the first kill is like in the first 15 minutes, but But I think that that's cool that they actually spared their time to have kills in this movie. Like it did give a lot more character development, and these characters I thought were all interesting. Like they all had different personalities, and they all really did feel like they were these kids in a mental institution. Like they did actually look and feel like they were. Um, I really liked all the performances in this. Like all the kills are great. Like I said, I like the fact that even though this isn't the last movie, they tried to do things that would end it, like having Freddy's actual corpse be pulled up and being destroyed, but it still didn't work. And having Amanda Kruger introduced, who is this nun that Neil keeps seeing throughout the movie, and realizing that she's the one who was the one that was raped by 1,000 maniacs. Um, and I think that that's a cool story point that they added to this. The nun character, Freddy's mother. Like I thought that they do a good, interesting job in all these films of slowly but surely telling every part of Freddy's backstory, but they don't do it in one movie. They literally space it out in between all of them. Like this starts with Amanda Kruger in this one, but we still haven't got like the other scenes of her and other parts of Freddy's past in the next couple movies. So I just like that build up in each movie. They tell a little bit of his backstory, but not the whole thing at once. And the ending I really, really enjoyed, even though I really don't like this in any horror movie where they do this, where they kill off the main character from the first one that they bring back. But in this one, it felt less of a cheat. Like, it didn't feel like something like Halloween Resurrection, where, like, that the actress, like Jamie Lee Curtis, didn't want to come back for that, and so she just said, kill me off, like, I don't want to be in anymore. Like, it wasn't like that. It felt like Heather Langenkamp's character, Nancy, like, she actually had a full story, and it felt like it went full circle with her even when she died. Like, it's sad to see her die, but it didn't feel like an insult as much as something like Halloween Resurrection. It really did feel like this character had a complete story arc. And that moment after she dies, whenever Kristen is crying over her, and like that scene is actually really good because it showed what a great actress Patricia Arquette was or is, and how she, even in her first movie, she was really, really moving. She was a really good actress, and I love her in all the stuff I've seen her in. But yeah, the performances are great. The kills are great. Like like I said, the TV, getting your head smashed in the TV. The guy getting his veins wrapped up, so he's like a puppet being moved around, and then it looks like he commits suicide, but Freddy cuts the strings. Like, all these kills are great, and everything about it is really great. That's why I think it's just as good as the first two. Like, it does a fantastic job of bringing back the Nancy character and learning a little bit more of Freddy's backstory, but it also does a great job with these characters. These are some of the most interesting characters in the whole franchise. Like, I feel like they all had a lot of depth to them. Like, you got just enough to feel like for these characters, and then whenever they die, you're like, oh, that sucks. Like, it's horrible to see them go. It isn't like some horror movies where, like, you just see these characters for 2 seconds and then they die, or they're unlikable. Like, these characters are all, you feel sympathy for them because they're being killed off because their parents did this thing where they killed Freddy. So, like, Freddy's out for revenge against all the Elm Street kids, and they're the last ones. So, I really enjoyed this sequel. It's a really great one. Like I said, everything's great about it. Acting, the characters, the kills, the imagery, the uniqueness. Again, just having these dream warriors, these characters that go in and fight in their dreams, fight against Freddy, and win in this one. You know, of course, but like I said, I hate that thing where, like, the next movie, characters get killed off. It happens in this franchise, so. But anyways, this one as its own, like on its own, I think is really, really great. Definitely one of the best. I consider it just as good as the first two.